Hello everybody and welcome to week 22 of the hashtag Altered Index 2024 challenge. This is the weekly challenge that I'm running in my Facebook group, Nonstop Papercrafts, but this is also being hosted in the Junk Journaling for Everyone Facebook group. I would absolutely love it if you posted your takes on these altered index cards into each of those groups. So far, people's interpretations have been absolutely amazing. Lots of people have been joining in, which is obviously fantastic to see, but it'll be great to see new people and their takes on these challenges. So each week I release 3 prompts. I am altering an index card only because that's what I have a lot of and I'm trying to go through my stash and use more of my items. But other people are doing these on tags or just in an art journal and they're just using the prompts to help their creativity. So this week's prompts are, the word is friend. We are using ink, that's the thing. And the colour is silver. So they're the 3 prompts, friend, ink and silver. So I have again done a little bit of preparation. I've got my index cards ready, so that's just to help me with my tab. So I found this sentiment and I've used one of my dies to kind of stamp it on, my sweet friend. So I thought, well, that kind of hits the word portion. Then I was trying to find either a stamp or a die where it looked like 2 people were friends. And I had a couple of options, but then I found this die, which I got from a D-Stash group. So I can't tell you the name of the die. It does, however, say that it's Carnation Crafts as a maker, so that's the person who made the die, but I can't tell you what it's actually called. But it does die cut beautifully, as you can see. Lots of lovely detail on those mice, but I thought that they looked like the best of friends, didn't they? So I thought I'm going to have those 2, and I've got this floral, and it's a vellum background, so I thought I can have that as my background, and then these 2 whizzing by on the bike. And then obviously have my sentiment as well. And then I've got my tab in a green all ready to go. So the only thing I was kind of struggling with was the silver. So I was thinking I've got these kind of smaller eyelets. So I was thinking of having those in the centre of the wheels. So having my silver there. And I've also got some metallic watercolours. So I was thinking of maybe just sort of adding some splatterings to the background maybe with that, and then that's my kind of silver done. So to kind of get the ink portion, the reason I've kind of left my die in its paper is I'm going to use my inks, but I'm going to use them as a watercolour to colour in my mice, and that's how I'm going to use my inks. I have obviously stamped this with an ink, so that kind of does that one as well. But I'm just going to put my banner to the side just so I don't get anything on that, and I'm going to move those teeny tiny eyelets. Now I have used this technique before where I've used my Distress Oxides, or you can use Distress Inks as well, as a watercolour. So I'm just using, this is an old stamping platform. I got this again from a D-Stash group, I think. There were lots of different stamping platforms in a set that kind of came as a bundle with other things as well. But this one in particular was quite sort of marked, and it's not very clear when you have your stamp underneath. So I just use this to put my inks onto. So what I was thinking is having like an old-fashioned bicycle. So I'm thinking of having a red bicycle with a little brown basket, little brown leather seat and the brown tyres. And then for my mice, one of them was going to be a kind of grey colour. And then the other one, again, I was kind of maybe going to have a sort of browny greyish colour, just to kind of make them look a little bit different. So let's start with the mice, actually. So I think I'm going to have a little bit of vintage photo, and you just rub a little bit onto your surface. If you've got a glass mat, you can use that as well. I do have a glass mat, but it's very sort of like clunky when I'm recording, which is why I don't like to use it when I'm recording. When I'm not recording, I love it and I use it quite a lot. but it's not very nice and helpful for you guys if all you can hear is the clinking on the glass. And I've got these watercolour brush pens, so I'm just going to squirt out some water just to kind of pick up some of that ink. Like I said, I'm going to kind of just mix the brown and the grey a little bit. And this is just for like one of the mice. And it doesn't matter if I go over the edge a little bit, because obviously this is die cut out from here anyway. But it just gives me that colour. So I'm going to leave his feet because I want those to be pink. Do the same with his hands. I mean, the nice thing about watercolour, if you go over it a little bit, it doesn't particularly matter. But because this is watercolour, it's obviously going to dry quite quickly because I'm not completely saturating it in water. But yeah, you just keep going around, adding some colour. And the nice thing about the inks is if you add obviously less water, then you get more of a darker colour. So I'm going to do that where I think sort of shadows would be. I am not a colour expert at all. I just like to have a little bit of a play. And I see a lot of sort of card makers doing this when they're working with their stamped images. And I always think it looks really cute. So it's something I like to sort of try and do myself. Okay, so let's push him down a little bit so I'm not getting him. I just want a little bit of shadow under there a little bit. Right, okay, something like that. So that's him. And then my other one I want to be a bit more grey. So I'm going to use more of the grey. Whoops. And it's just, again, it's just they look a little bit different. Again, I'm going to keep his nose white because I'll come in with a pink later. Just go around his ear a little bit. But I just thought this was the sweetest die. When I saw this in D-Stash group, I thought, oh my goodness, that's just so, so sweet. But I've not had the opportunity to use it yet, so when I was looking for something that looked like it had friendship or some kind of friendship, I thought, oh, I can use this die, finally. So again, as I said, I'm just going to come in with a little bit less water just to kind of add some shadow. Right, I think we can call that done. She says as she keeps going. Yeah, let's call that done. Right, so there's our mice. So I think next we can work on, what have we got? So we've got the handlebars. I'll come back to the pink in a minute. So let's, as we've got the brown out, I think I'm going to do the brown basket and the tyres. And again, where it has that kind of embossed feature, it's quite nice because now it gives you, you can really see the detail where the ink's kind of going into those places. That's my handlebar, and then I think we'll do the tyres. It's actually a really nice way to use your inks. I do quite like colouring. I'm not a painter. I'm not very good with paint. But I do like colouring. So the idea of colouring in this way using your ink is really, really nice. So that's one tyre. Right, okay, so they're my tyres. And again, it's watercolour, so it doesn't matter if it's not completely even. Oh, I know what I've forgotten. Is his little seat. Excellent, so that's his seat. Right, then that leaves us with the red bike frame and then just adding the pinks. So I think then we want to use some of this barn door. So let's bring that in. I'm just going to smudge that a little bit on this side. Okay, then I'm going to go through and do the red. And again, it doesn't matter that I'm not neat because obviously this is die cut out. So you're not going to see most of this. So I'm just going to colour over it quite roughly. I might actually skip over the pedals because I might do those black. Everything else can be coloured red. Right, okay, I'm going to give that a second to dry. I'll clear that off in a bit, so I'm just going to move that out of the way. Right, while that's drying, let's put that over there. I'm just going to stack up those ink pads a second and move those. Let's bring this in. So we need to, oh, just got one card. We need to cut this down to size, I'm sure, yeah, so it's not quite as wide, is it, which is a little bit annoying. Could do it that way, but then my flowers are the wrong way around, so it's just going to have to go in the middle. It doesn't reach either side. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Just going to put a little pencil mark where it needs to be cut. Okay, so this is going to go on there. Now I'm going to use my Barely Art glue because it dries clear and it's very good with vellum. Right, okay, so now that that is on there, as I said, I wanted to give it a few splatters with the silver just to kind of tick that metallic box. So I've got a different one of these water brush pens. Right, so let's try and get some of this. See if we can get it to splat. I'm splatting water. I'm not sure if there's any silver going on there. A couple of drops. Right, let's try that again. A bit more water. There we go. Okay, that will do. So again, this can now go to the side to dry. That might take a minute. Right, let's pop this guy out. And I just need to get rid of all of these small pieces. So I'm going to use a pokey tool just to help pop them out, just because obviously now where this is a little bit wet, it's going to be even more delicate than usual. Right, so next is going to be a tricky thing. So now I need to try and punch a hole without completely ruining this, hopefully, in the middle of these wheels. So let's see if I can do this without completely messing up everything I've just done. Okay, I think I've done it. Now again, it's not helped by the fact that it's a little bit wet, obviously where it's been watercoloured. But I think we might be okay. So I'm going to pop these in. And set those, so I need to swap this round. And again, just being careful because it is ever so delicate now, this thing. Okay, so there's one. Ah, knocked it off. And there's the other. Excellent, love that. Right, let's glue this one. think I'm going to find a little bit of string or something to go in there. So I've got this cute twine that could go on there. Now I know I'm making it super long, it's only because I can't do fiddly little bows, so I need to make it long and then I can trim it down after. Right, so now that we've got that, right, so that's what we've got. Let's bring this back. I think this is still a little bit wet. That's not too bad. Right, okay, so we're going to have our little cyclists sitting on here. I want you to move them over a little bit so that we've got my sweet friend. I don't want that too high up because my tab's got to go somewhere along here as well. But I think that looks really cute. So I think we'll go with that. So I'm going to turn that over. Right, okay, so an intricate die like this, you're not obviously going to be able to get glue in every single place. So it's just about sticking it in the best possible places. Okay, so that's going to go there. This is going to go on here. And then I'm just going to grab this just to help weigh it down a little bit. In fact, I think I might need two. I'm going to pop you on there, you on there. I'm just going to give that a minute just to grab to the vellum, because while this glue is very good with vellum, it does take a moment just to kind of grab to it. Okay, awesome. I really love that. Looks so cool. And this glue does dry clear, so if it does kind of ooze out a little bit, it doesn't really matter. But I love that, that's so sweet. Right, okay, well, let's find out where this tab needs to go. So where's my guide? So we are number 22, so it's going to go in this spot here. I'm going to lay it there, flip it over, and do that. And that is my card for this week. I think that looks absolutely adorable. That is so very cute, and a great way, as I say, to use inks as well to help with your colouring. So just to recap our different prompts, we had friend, so I've got friend in my sentiment, my sweet friend. Ink, I've used inks to do my colouring in a painting style. And then silver, I've got silver on my wheels, and I've splashed a little bit of silver in the background as well. So as I say, I think that is super, super cute. I really, really love that. I'm so pleased with how that turned out. I really hope that you guys have a go as well. Like I said, please make sure that you are posting in the Facebook groups. I'd also love to see them on Instagram or YouTube if you perhaps don't use Facebook. Just make sure that you're using that hashtag Altered Index 2024. That way myself and others can follow along. If you've enjoyed this challenge and this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. I'd really love to see your comments as well down below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you are notified of any crafty videos. Well, thank you so much everybody for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.